going
All
on?
right.
How's it going, guys?
Welcome.
All right. So we have Mike from Sons of Liberty Gunworks. Everybody's going to know you, Mike. You're recognized nowadays, right?
Yeah, especially in the Facebook groups we're in.
So, Mike, we'll dive right into it. First of all, thank you. Talk about some last minute shit, man. I appreciate you making time for this. We've had a lot of interest in. We've had a lot of interest in you for a long time, but obviously since you met Rogan and things like that, that kind of sparked a whole shitstorm. But that's not so much what I'm interested in personally. What I want you to tell us more is, I know a tidbit about how Sons of Liberty got started, right? I know the SEALs background. I understand a little bit of it, but I don't think many of us understand the true blue where Sons of Liberty came from.
Yeah, so I was going through a really bad breakup, and I got kicked out of my house with my girlfriend, and was in a really kind of a low spot. And I went out to go visit my brother, who's a SEAL, and I was in pretty bad shape. He's like, "Hey, look, man, you need to go back home. You need to start a gun company. Like, this is what you're good at. You need to go do this." And we came up with the name. I flew back home to Texas, and a mutual friend introduced me to Kyle. Kyle wanted to start a gun company also, but I think he wanted to enhance his own collection. I don't think he was really looking to
I can understand that.
Yeah, exactly. And so I don't think that he was really looking to do a serious gun business. And I had these fantasies of being the best rifle company in the country. I wanted to be BCM and Noveski, and back then, around the time that I was kicking this around, those were the guys that were really my inspiration. I mean, John Noveski, I'm very fortunate that I had a chance to talk to him and pick his brain a little bit. I think he was way ahead of his time. My buddy Will Larson, who was a huge influence on me and a mentor, he had worked for Paul at Bravo Company back then. Will Larson had serial number 7 of the Bravo Company.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it really is, dude. I mean, so interestingly enough, we had kind of a weird, loose connection to a lot of these brands, and I wanted to do that. So I sold my car, came up with a little bit of money. Kyle had a building on one of his lumber yards that was not being used, and together we started Sons of Liberty with $7,000 in the basement of the lumber yard.
Wow. What year was that?
2014. 2014. Wow. So our November is our 6-year birthday. So I think it was November 20th, the very first the actual Sons of Liberty rifle rolled off the line, if you will.
That's so cool.
Mike, I don't know if we've never really discussed this, but I was introduced to you guys probably, you said 6 years will be your anniversary. This is probably 4.5 years ago, maybe 5, somewhere in there. Kind of when you guys first started making a name. And as most of us do, when somebody said, "Hey, you got to check these guys out," my first comment was, "Oh, good. Another fucking gun company that's going to come up, do the same thing everybody's doing and act like they're the best." Right? I mean, that was my opinion. That's where I stood. And I was, until I met you guys. And then actually I brought the rifle here. This is the first one you guys sent me with. And since I've put, I don't know how many thousands of rounds, I've never cleaned it. Not one time. Never cleaned it. Never. I did what you told me to do, which is just run it into the ground. And it failed on me one time because I allowed it to get too dry. Put a couple dabs of cherry bomb, and that was 500 rounds ago. And it's still just kick it. I'm still killing. I killed a deer with it last weekend. So he's good, man. It's good to hear kids in the background.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, dude.
No, it's okay. Well, we're through. We all have kids, so we get it.
Many of them.
It's interesting. We, for some reason, I don't know if this was just some kind of like dumb confidence or. I mean, looking back, it's kind of funny. There's a story. Our very first year at SHOT Show. I guess it was 2015, and I was Glenn and I were in an elevator. We were riding down, and it stopped, and this really tall guy got on, and I'm making some like really vile, like inappropriate joke. The guy kind of turns around and like looks at us and chuckles. I introduced myself, and I said, "Hey, I think it's I'm a big fan of your work because I am. I mean, Marty Daniels is kind of like the pinnacle of an independently owned gun company. I'd say Daniel Defense, as far as being owned by an individual as opposed to publicly traded or owned by a conglomerate or something. Daniel Defense has achieved quite a bit, and so I remember telling him, "Hey, I'm a big fan of what you've done with your company." And he said, "Oh, thanks, thanks for being a customer." And I said, "Oh, no, I'm not a customer. I'm a competitor." And I informed him that I was a competitor. And I think at that point, I had for 4 Sons of Liberty. I think I had made a total of 80 rifles. And this was when Daniel Defense was making like $60,000 a year. So I looked at him stoned, like dead in his face. I was like, "No, I'm a competitor." And for some reason, it just like looking back now, I realize what a dumbass I was, but at the time, I never felt like that. And there were times where we'd be at different trade shows and stuff. And I'd have, to my right, I'd have FN. And on my left, I'd have Sig Sauer and LWRC and Smith & Wesson, all these guys, right? And I never felt like the underdog. I honestly felt like, just wait until they get a load of me, and I never felt like we were the underdog, and I think that kind of helped us. If you really, really know what you're talking about, and I think when it comes to this platform, the specific thing, I think we do it better than most. We know what we're talking about, and we don't stray from that. You can hang with anybody at that point. I'm happy to go toe to toe performance wise with anybody out there. We will run guns to failure, and doesn't bother me one little bit. That's why I laugh at all the charts and stuff, because I know something that they don't. We've actually done some of this stuff.
Right.
So, yeah.
This is like the American dream, right? I mean, going from small to essentially pretty big now. I mean, you're everywhere now that I see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't say this in a bragging way or anything, but it is very much, I think, like the American dream. I mean, 2014 we had $7,000, and this year we're on a $25 million run rate. For the year.
Same.
So that's not bad. I think the gun industry is one of the very few industries that are still like our grandparents' capitalism. In any other industry, you can't go head to head with the big guys because they'll just swallow you up. You can't. But we go head to head with people, every day for contracts and stuff, and we win. So I don't think you can do that like in the airline industry or the cell phone industry or a lot of different technology, stuff like that. But with guns are one of those things where the small family business can still compete with the biggest guys out there.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, you mentioned slight arrogance. I mean, I think everybody sees that, but the way I look at it is there's that running joke in the groups, right? Is all they have to do is tag you and you just pop up. It's like, it doesn't matter what fucking Facebook group, it doesn't matter where we are. It's just like somebody tags Mike and you're there. And I mean, I know from a business standpoint that doesn't sound like the best approach for you taking that much time, but I have never once seen somebody have a question and you not put your phone number in it, and it's just like, fucking text me. Like, come on, this is where I'm at. Call me, whatever you need. And I do believe that's. I mean, I've been in your shop when stuff came through that was blown up, and it was not because of Sons of Liberty, it was because of the individual. I've never heard of you saying, no, we're not going to fix that, or no, we're not replacing it. Even when their document says it's their fault, right?
Yeah, I mean, so I looked at this stuff, not just with guns, but with anything, and the end user support for stuff, it's really not there. I mean, if you and this isn't unique to guns. I think it's for any consumer product. The company is usually finding a way out of having to deal with issues, and for us, we realized that it was much simpler to just have almost a no questions asked policy. And if you destroy something, if you break something, let's just fix it. And that's how you grow a brand from a couple of guys in the lumberyard to a national brand in 6 years with no marketing budget. You just, really take care of people. And we grew through word of mouth. And I don't see us ever changing that. You don't have to. Like, if you do the math, the amount of people that catastrophically blow up their own guns is very small. But you fix that gun for that guy, I promise you, whether he knows it or not, he's helped you sell 100 more.
Right.
Because he's told people about, that level of experience. And so just do, and then the accessibility online. I still really like talking to shooters. I like answering questions. I like, making fun of each other on the forums. It's still fun. Ask me 10 years from now, maybe, well, hey, fuck that. But
that's what made you where you are.
I think it's made all the difference. So I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of work. I mean, I probably spend 80 hours a week, on Facebook forums.
I believe that.
So when you give your phone numbers out, do people actually abuse that?
Not, dude. You know what? Not as much as you think. I have had people call me like at 10, 11 o'clock on Thanksgiving, or Christmas or like Sunday. And it depends on what mood I'm in. Like back when I was drinking, some of those conversations got interesting, I think one guy told him, it's like, hey man, it's like, can I call you right back? And then like intentionally I called him back like at 3 a.m. I was like, in all fairness, he did call me like at 11 o'clock. It's like, I'm gonna call you right back, and I just set an alarm and called him back at 3 a.m. I mean, just just to fuck with him. But no, for the most part, people are really respectful. My phone number's on Reddit, on M4 Carbine, all over Instagram, and I would think you'd get a lot more dick pics and trolls and stuff like that. But
we can fix that. We can change that.
So not enough, huh? Not enough. Okay.
Say the word.
Yeah. So for the most part, man, no, people are pretty respectful of it, and it's fun. I think people like being able to, if they have a technical question, to be able to go straight to like a pretty decent source. The internet is full of horrible information.
Yeah.
And to be able to call up somebody on the phone that actually is going to give them a straight answer,
I mean, you understand how big of a deal it is to have not only a rep or a employee of a manufacturer, but an owner of the manufacturer just be like, fuck you, text me, call me, whatever. I'll help you with anything you need. I mean,
that's unheard of, I think.
I always joke. I tell people this all the time. Mike and I have known each other a few years now, and we've had each other's numbers, so I thought, for years. But every time I comment on Facebook, he'll say, call me, and send me his number again, which means he hasn't saved my shit. But it's probably because he can't afford to. There's so many numbers that he'd have to save, right?
I think it's just habit, man. And a lot, and I'm sure we're going to get into this in a little bit, in a little bit different tangent, but it's very hard to have a conversation, I think, online. I mean, if somebody asks you like, hey, what are your business hours? Yeah, that's a pretty easy question to answer, in a thread. But if somebody wants to talk about how to chop down a barrel and do this and do that, or if somebody's trying to diagnose some kind of complex malfunction, and people call me with issues with guns that aren't even ours. Not a single component on the gun is a Sons Liberty component. But I think didn't you send us a gun one time?
Me?
Lee? Yeah, was it you?
No.
No.
So I get calls about stuff that that have nothing to do with Sons Liberty, and I'm still happy to help because the M4 that is my wheelhouse, and so I don't mind being a good resource. Watching all the bad information online inspires me to want to counter that with decent information.
So I've seen you respond to a few things online, and while I think I know your tone when you're typing, I realize what you're saying when most people do not understand tone, and that's why you're like, call me. But I can also see when you are motherfucking someone, but you're not. You're providing them with good information, but you're doing it in such a way where it's very elegantly saying you're a dumbass. How? And I have to know this because I have yet to master it, and I don't have nowhere near Sons of Liberty. But I just have to know how you keep the composure. Now I know a lot of that is education, right? You hold the knowledge to actually deliver, but how do you not send other people dick pics and just be like, "Hey, bitch, shut up"? Like that's tough for me. Very tough.
There's a guy on the No Pores Snobs group who works at a gun shop, who carries our guns. He's not a bad guy. I don't dislike the dude, but he talks shit all the time. Like he specifically pokes fun at us, and he works at a gun shop that carries Sons Liberty products. And after a couple of times of like him saying some shit about us online, and you can tell. I mean, it's people forget, like when I hear like gun opinions and I hear people talking about this and that, it's kind of funny because I would imagine that if it's evident immediately who knows what they're talking about and who doesn't. I mean, if you do this stuff a lot and you actually really understand the platform and you hear people discussing stuff, it's immediately evident who does not know what the fuck they're talking about. They have no practical experience, or because the opinions are kind of almost childish or massively uninformed. Anyways, this guy would make comments all the time. So I called the shop that he works at and I offered to come teach an armorer's class at his shop just for him. I didn't care if he was the only student in the class. I was going to bring my assistant and ship all the crates of tools and get the classroom, whatever. I didn't care if he was the only guy in the class. I was going to teach that fucking class, dude. Because I got so tired of the comments. And so sometimes it does get frustrating. Sometimes it's fun, to kind of play around. But ultimately, I think the number one thing is that you're accessible, you're talking to people, and you're able to answer their questions. And luckily I've gotten well known enough on the forums to where I don't have to shout above the crowd so much. Typically, when I weigh in on that, usually people kind of chill out and let me let me help answer that question. Before it was again shouting above the crowd. So.
I mean, you went through years of that. I mean, I watched you go through where you had to battle education, right? You had to fight these guys that thought they knew everything. And it wasn't until it was just dick measure after dick measure after dick measure. And finally, they took a step back and said, okay, this guy is going to beat me no matter what I say. He has a rebuttal that is usually opposite, right? Because a lot of the information you see online it's just awful.
It really. I mean, it's anecdotal. It's regurgitating something that somebody else read. If I stayed consistent, I would answer as many good questions as I can. And sometimes the way I respond, if you read it, I'm not just talking to the guy who asked the question. I'm also typing that response for like the 100 people that are reading along in the shadows that that aren't commenting. So it's an opportunity for me to not just answer that one specific question, but to talk to like I know hundreds of people that are reading along that aren't getting involved in the shit show. And I think to most people reading along, it's pretty evident which one of us knows what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah.
So
if you know what you're listening to, if you know what you're reading, it's easy.
Yeah. So and that's kind of it. I mean, that's why I don't mind doing it. It does get frustrating sometimes, but you can't really focus on the negative, right? I mean, if and I used to. I mean, earlier on, when I was doing this, we could have 1,000 positive comments, literally 1,000 positive comments, and the one that I would obsess over is like that one negative one. And I've kind of learned how to tune that out, because there are some people that don't like you. They just don't like you, and that's fine. I mean, you don't need to. I can't waste time with them. There are other people out there that I could possibly help or reach or talk to or connect with, and that's just what I focus on now.
Yeah, I think Lita, I mean, we watch, I guess you'd say, from the background, right? A lot of times we don't chime in, but the Sons of Liberty following has gone from just this kind of quiet group to any time it comes up. They don't even have to tag Mike anymore. It's just a bombardment of comments. And that was going to be one of my questions, is how do you deal with the just tag after tag? How do you show up? I don't understand it. Like, I mean, I appreciate it. I think it
exploded within the last 2 years.
It has.
Yeah, I mean, I think they say it takes it takes 15 years to become an overnight success, and it's true. I think you put your nose down, you're kind of singularly focused, almost obsessively. You just keep driving, and then eventually, it kind of pays off where people start to notice. I mean, I spend a lot of time. I have my phone near me all the time. I have calls coming in. I have messages from the shop. In the shop chat, I've been getting the notifications on Facebook, and I realize that speed sometimes is the key. If a thread starts and someone's like, "Hey, I ordered this hat from Sons Liberty, and it's been 3 weeks. Where is it?" And there could be some kind of computer glitch. We might be out of that hat, whatever. But if you let that thread go, then it can cascade, kind of out of control. People,
right?
But if you get in there and you address it pretty quick, for the most part, not only have you chilled that person out, but you've chilled out the other 100 people that are kind of reading along in the shadows. So, sometimes speed is key.
Yeah. So basically nipping it in the bud, huh?
Yeah, not just that. I mean, I think one of the reasons why people get mad at our fanboys, or people get mad like that we have to follow and we do, they have to remember a lot of these people I've talked to on the phone. I've not just about guns. I mean, we've talked about our families. I've donated to some cause there, and we've helped raise money with an organization. We actually have a more of a relationship than just, here's an anonymous brand, like here's some logo, and that's it, and you buy product from it. That's not us. I mean, we're all of us, not just me, but all of our guys. We're super out front, in front of the brand. There's human beings behind the logo, and it's not just some nameless, faceless organization. There's people there, and we interact, and that's very different. The gun industry really isn't like that. I mean, I bet you could probably ride an elevator with Paul Buffoni, and you might not recognize him, even though he's, I think, the owner of one of the greatest rifle companies in the country. Paul Buffoni owns Bravo Company, right? And if you're in an elevator with him, unless you're like a super fan like me, you probably wouldn't know it. And I'm not saying that the way they've done things is bad, but I think people come to our defense the way they do because I probably talk to them every day on forums or on the phone, or it's not just a nameless, faceless brand.
So there's a comment, Mike. There's a comment that kind of is working. It says, "How many people have looked up Mike's number just now and are sending him text over and over?" Which I would say that's a decent comment, but there's like fucking 2 people watching this, so we're not. I mean, we're not a popular. We don't do this for popularity. We mainly do it because we know we have that little niche market of people that follow Sons of Liberty like tooth and nail. And I mean, we have a few. I've been writing down comments that come. So if I don't come back to your comment, fucking deal with it. But at least I wrote it down. So I don't remember who asked this, but somebody asked, "How do you compete in an already saturated market, and how do you stay positive?" Which is I think that's the competing is easy, right? You can just blast your name out, and like you said, you grew by word of mouth, which that alone is saying something. That's huge with no market. I mean, you told me that 4 or 5 years ago. We don't have a marketing budget, and you proved it. But how do you stay positive in that?
Man, I mean, you really believe in what you're doing. We are a performance-driven brand. I know that our rifles will outperform pretty much anything out there. Like, I know that, and I can explain that. And so, how do we compete in that space? Dude, I don't think people realize the impact we've had on the industry. Like, we've pulled the veil back completely on someone like the secret sauce. I mean, from day one, I've been telling people who machines are bolts, who machines are receivers, who does this.
Yeah, you've never hidden that.
Yeah, we publish our gas port data. We publish the exact formulas in which we build the guns. I mean, we talk about everything, torque values, carrier keys, blah blah blah. And how do you grow in a saturated market? Well, you outwork them. You put out a better product. You put out the best end user support. You stay accessible. You talk to people. You get involved in the community. That's one thing that we do that nobody else. I mean, man, I remember being in Virginia during their rally that they had, and looking out into a sea of like 50,000 people, and man, I was wondering where's the industry. I mean, I'm looking at 50,000 of our customers. I mean, I see Sons of Liberty hats and LWRC hats and PCM, and I thought it was really important to be there to support those guys. But I'm not knocking anybody for not being there, but how do you stay competitive in a saturated industry? Well, like, you show up.
Right. It doesn't matter where it is, you're there.
Yeah, and it's not, I mean, it's not a publicity. I mean, I actually, with all my heart, I ideologically believe in what we're doing. So you just, we're not just a product. We're kind of a bit of a culture, and we wanted to like-minded people, and we wanted to stand for something. We wanted to be kind of a message. We use our megaphone I think for good. So, I mean, that's how you do it. That's how you really stand. And we have a really good product. So,
yeah, I mean, I agree. Mike, when I first heard about y'all, I always will be the ultimate skeptic. I don't give 2 shits who you are, who knows you. Mike, I think it was around Harvey when we kind of connected. We were 2 individuals kind of doing the same goal. Now, mind you, we were sleeping in the bed of trucks and you were flying helicopters down there because you're cool. So I'm not comparing you in that sense, but it was kind of one of those things where, I mean, Lee Ty, you remember, we did, Mike raised, I don't remember how many tens of thousands of dollars. I mean,
I remember donating to you to go get supplies to help people. That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and that was, at that point, Review the Pew didn't exist in a legitimate stance. It was just kind of a quiet stance, and it was mainly the Snobs group. That's who stepped up. Oh, we lost Mike.
That's all right.
That's all right. He answered a lot of questions. He'll text me here in a minute. His phone probably fucking died from all the texts.
You bastards. You guys kept texting him to see the vibration in his phone here.
Yeah, you can't keep sending out dick pics. That was a joke.
Yeah, can't be doing that for real. But I was going to bring my gun out too here. This is the one that Sons of Liberty products didn't fail, but the green spring failed. This is the famous gun that broke that green spring.
The one that broke.
Yeah, the 4 green springs that ever broke was done by this gun. Chad from School of American Rifle did an autopsy of the upper, but yeah, here's the gun.
I don't know what spring is in this gun.
You can open it and check it out.
No, Mikey built me this gun from Sons of Liberty. A 5.56 and a 6.5 Grendel. The Grendel's been sitting, but this one, like, you could probably hear it, but it is sandy.
It's gritty. Oh yeah, that's nice. That's well used.
It's nasty.
So this wasn't Sons of Liberty problem or a spring called green spring problem. It was the ammo I was using. I did not know it was corrosive.
Oh.
And I shot almost 3,000 rounds of corrosive ammo through this thing, and the spring finally gave up. But apparently, during the autopsy of this gun, the corrosion didn't do too bad to the rest of the parts. It was actually
just
the rest of the parts. Yeah, Sons of Liberty parts were actually okay.
So I wrote down a bunch of questions, guys, and again, I'm going to address your questions because Mike had to drop off. Mike would not have bailed like that just without any sort of words if he didn't have something going on. So we're not going to pretend like he just Mike, hopefully you're okay, but he's fine. But I can address most of these questions. Again, I'm not speaking on behalf of Sons of Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm simply speaking on behalf of the conversations that I've had the opportunity to have with Mike, right? Just the casual conversations. Somebody asked, what are your long-term plans? And specifically, they asked with the Harris administration, which I like that little stab, right? That little Biden administration.
Boom, right there. Yeah.
I'll tell you this. I feel like I know Mike well enough to say that his political stance is not going to change. His manufacturing stance is not going to change. And he's going to continue to pump out as many products to as many civilians as he can while he can, right? We're not going to address legally. We're not going to address tar and feather style, right? He has a business to run and he's going to operate it legally like he has from the start. But I will tell you, he's going to fight tooth and nail. For those of you who don't know, here in San Antonio, we had a kind of a big gun grab go on. Lethal, you remember this, yeah?
Oh, Mike's back.
Oh, there he is. I knew he didn't just drop off for fun.
No, man, sorry about that. My phone died.
So it's probably from all the dick pics that you requested. So we were just talking about one of the questions that one of the guys asked was your long-term plans. And essentially, they asked how you're going to combat the Harris administration, which is their way of saying, how do you combat your current administration? And I was just telling them the story about how you rolled up to a gun grab, essentially, in San Antonio, and gave away rifles in front of everybody. I was there for that, and it's on awesome. YouTube. I recorded your whole thing, and I'm pretty certain you made the mayor almost cry. And it wasn't because you were mean; it was educational.
Yeah, well, that and I mean, those town halls, they're used to like 25 people showing up, and it's usually like 15 people that are in their echo chamber. And then like another 10 that like just have cable or board or something. And so that's what they're used to. Like whenever 400 and something people show up to disagree with you, that gets people's attention. And that was the last we ever heard of gun buybacks.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and the people that we brought, these weren't activists. We didn't bring people that are, like traditional activists of any kind. We brought people who are, there was surgeons and pilots and bus drivers and your next door neighbors and your housewives, and I mean, so we got regular people to engage and voice an opinion. Kyle and I are actually going to be moving out to Georgia for like the last 2 weeks of the year to go volunteer for the Senate race. You know, we're going to go out there. We're going to bring as many volunteers as we can. We're going to recruit volunteers while we're out there, and we're going to do everything we can. Now, I mean, obviously, I know my place in the world. I don't think we have some kind of mega influence because we don't. But you know, if I can help deliver 1,000, 2,000, maybe 3,000 votes or something like that, that might be that might be all you need. You know, sometimes it comes down to just a few. We are playing for all the marbles. You know, that Senate race in Georgia is for everything, not just guns. It's for everything that I think the three of us hold dear. And so, if you don't want to see the Supreme Court packed, if you don't want to see them do it with the filibuster, you know, if you don't want to see some really crazy shit brought to life, that Senate race is for all the marbles.
So I don't think, and I don't want to keep too much of your time, right? We've kept you for 30 minutes, but I want to ask a few questions that the guys have asked. And while getting into the Senate races and things like that, I feel like could potentially be an hour-long conversation because Mike, I truly don't believe most people understand what filibuster means. I don't think most people understand the basics, but I do ask, how do you determine what's truth when you're hearing, you know, right now, if you Google Trump, he is saying these are a bunch of frauds, right? If you Google Biden, he's saying, how do you pull your information and determine that they're truth? Hey, I can turn your camera off real quick, Mike. You can just give us audio if you need.
No. What's it called? I'm having a hard time hearing me. For some reason, it's muffled on my end.
I can probably get a little bit. It's probably me. Let me ask you this. How do you get your news? Where do you get your information so you understand if it's factual or not?
I mean, I usually, I try to read as many sources on the same story as possible because, unfortunately, if you pay attention to the stuff enough, you realize that you have to read between the lines, and you have to learn how to speak news, the language of news, to kind of understand if something's going to be reported out of context and something's going to be reported with the spin. So if you understand the spin they're going for, then you can kind of work it backwards what the actual truth is, because they have to start with some truth in order to spin it their way. So, I mean, Fox News, CNN, Newsmax, BBC, also people on the ground, right? I mean, I have pretty good relationships with, several politicians and several people that are advocates and actually working on these things, attorneys that are, digesting and looking at some of these bills being proposed. So, I mean, I try to use a lot of different sources to come up with the most accurate, objective thing that's happening. And you have to. I think most people are very lazy. Most people get their information from a 5-second news clip.
Absolutely.
And that's why you saw what happened 2 weeks ago. I mean, that's what low information voters look like.
Yeah, and I don't want to focus too much on politics. Well, right now, that is literally the topic. I understand that. I personally don't think our conversation is – I hope it does. I hope you and Kyle going out to Georgia is going to just lay the dick on the table and really help. But my focus right now, our focus rather, Lita, I apologize, is Sons of Liberty. And, dude, I've literally watched y'all build it from – a glorified fucking closet to a legitimate. I mean, honestly, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. That's y'all had a closet. Y'all somehow turned out fucking legitimate rifles, and it didn't matter how hard you packed them in there. You were not going to you weren't going to sacrifice quality. And I just think that's why y'all are where you are. But somebody asked, what are your long-term plans besides being the best? Because we all know that that's happening. What are your long-term plans?
I think our long-term plans are to, kind of extend into the mainstream. So currently, like, most of our clients are, pretty sophisticated shooters that are professional end users. The guys take that stuff really serious. But the overall mission, the goal was always to provide like legit defensive rifles to your average civilian, your average person. And we're going to continue to grow. Our long-term goals are to be able to scale this in a responsible way, to where you never lose that QC, the formula never changes, you never compromise. You just keep growing it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like, most businesses, like most industries, there's an exit strategy. For the gun industry, there's really not. This is a business that I hope I can one day leave to my kid. So while I don't want to get into the politics of it, but the only way that that's going to be possible is for us to solve some issues and, hopefully,
You're kind of getting a bad connection here.
Yeah.
You guys need to stop sending dick pics. This is real.
Mike, if you can hear us, buddy, your phone is crashed. It's from the dick pics. We know it is. We're not going to deny it, but I think we need to. Mike's frozen.
I just want to thank Mike for coming on to this shitty podcast.
Dude. Mike, if you can still see us, he's still frozen down here. We're gonna. Yeah. I just pulled him down to see if we can still get him. Guys, for those that don't know, Mike is not. He's a owner of a manufacturing company. Him and Kyle own the company. Yeah, he just texted me. But
initially, my first purchase from Sons of Liberty was a barrel, and man, when I shot that, I thought it was super soft shooting. So I kept buying and buying and buying, and now I have like quite a few full guns.
Okay, can y'all stop sending fucking dick pics until 16 minutes?
It was 10 minutes. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. But I was just saying, I started buying some. My first interaction with Sons of Liberty was a barrel. I bought that. It shot softer than some of the barrels that I've ever put together because of the proper gas port. And then I just kept buying from there on. Now I have 4 or 5 rifles.
Yeah, 4 or 5. And how many countless parts? That's kind of
right. Sons of Liberty bulk carrier groups, I probably have 10 at least.
Yeah. And Mike, like you said, you've had people bring in and repair guns. I've brought my Honey Badger, my Q products. Shout out to y'all, because they've been all big in the fucking media because they're pistol. Well, my SBR would not fucking fire. Your guys fixed it for me.
Once people deal with us and get to know us, we usually retain that customer. They start, once you see the light, you can't unsee it. So you have a really, really good product backed up by people that are almost fanatic about it. And it's once people start dealing with us, we're really hard to beat. So that's the story of a lot of our clientele. Right now it's interesting because our guns are being sold in so many different places that in retail stores and stuff, people that are not on Instagram, people that are not on Facebook, people I've never interacted with. So what's interesting is the brand has outgrown the personalities behind it. There's some guy, in Ohio right now, buying a rifle off the rack. He's never heard of Mike Mihalski. He's never seen the helicopter rescue missions or any of the other stuff we've done. He doesn't know anything about that. The sales guy is telling him, "Hey, this is a really good buy," and the brand has outgrown us, which is the goal of any business owner.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about us anymore. It's about the product and the people that can communicate that. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, your balance of being successful and still being genuine, I think, Mike, and I wouldn't fluff you up if I didn't truly believe it. I commend y'all, man. I mean, I still come down and have beers with the guys and stuff, and it doesn't matter how busy they are. It's like somebody will make time to just. It may be.
Oh, you're slowing everything down, aren't you?
Hey, I mean, it's. I have another question for you.
Aaron Lewis actually asked me about you. I was telling him about the optics and whatnot that you're helping with, and it's kind of cool that like he's just another member of the extended Sons Liberty family. I mean, like,
yeah,
and that's how it feels. I mean, it feels like we're all kind of in on this thing together, dude.
Yeah, which I never got to thank you. I appreciate his contact, but at the same time, for me, it's like he was the most normal, famous person I've ever met in my fucking life. Like, he taught me how to open a Topo Chico with a fucking lighter in your bar, like the proper way, and I've done it ever since. And I've showed multiple people. Like,
this is what Aaron Lewis showed me.
It really was. I mean, he was like, no, bitch. Let me show you something. Come here. And showed me how to do it properly. It was no benefit to him. He didn't even know who I was.
Yeah.
Things are big.
No, well, but he knew that you were, part of the family. And like, and that's what that was always my goal, man, was, if you're at an airport, you look across the way and there's another guy with the Sons Liberty hat on, I bet you can walk up to that dude and y'all could talk for hours. I bet y'all have a lot of things in common,
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that was always the idea. It was, anyways.
No, dude, you're good. I'm reading. I have a couple questions for you that the users asked. Adam, I think this was Adam Tarr's question. Adam, Allegiant Rifle Works, the 9. He asked what, and I know I've already asked this in theory, but we skipped over it, kind of coming back. Trying to find Adam's comment here. I wrote comments down in like a blur, and then now we have to come back to them, and it's not really working. He asked, what is the best move you made early on that helped you to where you are now? Like, what was your move early that brought you here?
Well, meeting Kyle was huge, right? And then him and I not giving up on each other. Kyle and I, us both, dude, we have virtually nothing in common. And and him and I butted heads all the time. I mean, we hated each other for probably like the first 2 years. I think not giving up on the idea was I mean, obviously, the only reason we existed is because we didn't give up on it. Another thing that I think helped us get here was ignoring all the good advice. I get offered good advice all the time, and hey, Mike, tone down the rhetoric on that, or hey, Mike, y'all could save money by using this spring, or you might want to not be so accessible, or and we got a lot of quote unquote good advice, and I kind of ignored a lot of that. Just did me, I kind of kept it, and I think you can't replicate authenticity, and so we just kind of did it our way, and nobody thought that would work. I mean, everybody everybody gave us a lot of good ideas that thank God we never followed. You know. So
yeah, I mean, Mike, you're starting to cut out a little bit again, so I think we're gonna awkwardly cut you short here, dude. But just know, yeah, more than you know. Like, you taking the time to do this for us it means a lot. And I know all I had to do was call on you from Facebook and you'd show up, but the fact that you came on, it means a lot, man. We appreciate it.
Hey, so I'll tell you what, man. If next time y'all want to do this, I'll make sure my phone is charged and I'm a little bit better. You know,
we give you like 17 minutes notice. It's okay. We appreciate it.
Guys, thank you so much, man.
Thanks. All right, buddy. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right, so
he's awesome.
I've been taking notes. For y'all that don't believe me, I'm not just looking at my screen. I'm writing down your comments.
Wait, that's my paper that I sent you.
Of course it is. How I thought I wasn't going to waste it. I was going to use it for notes for this. What was I supposed to use it for? So,
but I guess to go back to some of the questions that people had, the ammo that I used that broke the green spring was a South African 193 ammo. I should have known it was corrosive because it was packed pretty well. It has those desiccant packs in every 100 rounds, 150 rounds. Yeah. I was like, this is packed really nicely.
You earned that.
So I should have known it was corrosive, but it definitely surprised me. I think I'm only going to shoot that ammo through this gun, and then after I'm done with that ammo, I'm changing all the springs out again, because that just surprised the hell out of me that only under 3,000 rounds the green spring broke.
Yeah, and honestly, I on another episode, I think you should break that out and show us. But I want to go through. We have a couple questions that, guys, everybody that asked questions, if I didn't catch it, I apologize. I was trying to pay attention to Tron, Mike, and do this. But in Mike's defense, guys, remember this. I text him, an hour and a half before this?
Yeah, I thought we were going to talk about.
I thought it was next week.
Yeah, I thought I was going to talk about toys I bought for my kids. I essentially just swiped for myself because it was retro shit. It's right here.
Hey, actually,
He-Man. It's He-Man shit, man.
Open your He-Man shit. I'll be right back. Open your He-Man shit.
So I saw this at Walmart, and then I'm like, oh shit, this is my childhood. I never got a He-Man because when I was growing up, my family didn't buy me many toys, so I decided to buy it for myself. And my kids are like, what the hell is this? I'm like, this is He-Man. You don't even know. And then right below it, I saw this. So I had to buy it. Fucking Battle Cat. It's Battle Cat. Seriously. How could I have not bought this? Battle fucking Cat. And then I got Skeletor. I had to. So I was buying toys for my kids because it's their birthday, and then I saw these, and yeah, I had to buy them. So I'll probably open them next episode, maybe, and then we'll play with them. I'll play with them on screen.
Yeah, you will play with them on screen. Sorry, guys. Whew, I had to pee so bad. I'm not even afraid to admit it.
No, I didn't buy the G.I. Joe stuff. I didn't want to buy all these toys in front of my kids and then go, too bad, not for you.
Okay, so I just have to ask this. Like, for instance, I may or may not have bought one of the animatronic Baby Yodas.
Those are awesome, and those are expensive.
But I bought the kid a plush one and made him pay for it. He still gets one.
Okay.
It still counts.
I mean, it counts.
Now, your kids are still a little bit younger, but all right. So before we drift off too much, because I still want to see those action figures. Is that what we call them nowadays? Action figures?
I don't know. I mean,
it's their action. I could call them dolls, but that's not.
I'm not going to open them today. I'll open them next time. We're like almost an hour in.
Okay, so real quick, end user support is one question, guys. I'll tell you this. Mike went from, like he said, a handful of rifles to I don't know how many thousands. End user support's not going to change, right? You don't just have Kyle and Mike, which is what everybody sees. You have Tom, you have Mikey, you have so many guys that build that pipeline to make sure that your questions are answered. Just remember this. I don't want to call them a small company because they're not small anymore, but I will call them they're a normal company. I mean, they're a small company when it comes to the size that they're competing with. So if you message and you don't get an answer right away, have patience. I mean, it's two guys
who have families too.
What?
They have families too.
They do. They have families.
Yeah.
I mean, Mark just had a kid. Kyle has children. I mean, every single one of the guys in there. Tom's son works as a gunsmith there. I mean, they all have. I mean, it's a family affair. So I can't promise you that we will give you the answers. But if for some reason you're hitting up what's the word I'm looking for? Like the question section of their website and you don't hear anybody, you don't hear back, shoot one of us a message. Their website has been through so many transitions, and that's not because of them. That's because these anti-Second Amendment platforms, I guess is the right word, right?
Right.
They
exactly.
just keep cutting them off. They keep fucking them. So, this question, I think we should probably ask Mike, which is, with the market pierced, I can't even remember my own goddamn handwriting. Hold on. I know where the comment is though. But anyway, so guys, just remember this. If you asked a question here and we didn't get to it because I was trying to write at warp speed on Lee Ty's note, ask Mike. Ask him. Ask Mike. Ask Kyle. It's not going to hurt anything to just send them a message. I think this was a good comment.
I think I fall into that trap. Sometimes I'm a little lazy when listening to the news. I just want the information given to me, so I don't have to think about it. I just need the information.
How do you find it though?
I can't trust it. That's my dilemma. I don't know who's telling me the truth.
Right.
I kind of don't have the time to decipher and think about or read between the lines here. I need the information now. I need the correct information, and I need to move on. But it seems like I have to take the time to think about this now, because Fox News doesn't seem like they're very, very right wing anymore. No. I mean, it's wild. I don't even know who to believe. NPR. People tell me NPR because they're kind of neutral. I'm like, and then you see a graph that they're more left leaning. So there's really nowhere for me to.
It's the same thing with Facebook. Oh, Facebook censors us, and what is it today? Parler, right? And I'll just address that very short and sweet. For those of you who are new to censorship, Facebook has been censoring me for the last 10 plus years. This is nothing new. It's because it's now affecting other people that they feel like it's their time to stand up and switch. You want to switch to Parler? I love you for it. It's your freedom to do so. But read their fine print. They are censoring people left and right. And I have multiple comments, and I'll have to dig them out. But people have posted in Parler and whatever other social media. The only one that I have never heard of censorship is Mew, if that's how we say it. Mewe, I don't know how you say it. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. That's the only place that I've never heard of censorship.
I don't foresee me going into another format. I'm almost too lazy for it because it's just you're rebuilding.
If I'm gonna get censored, I'm gonna use censorship that works. Right? Mm-hmm. I mean, Parler's deleting accounts left and right already for really no reason because they disagree. So anyway.
Same.
We're at an hour. I think we've
Are we running out of shit to talk about? Are we gonna give away some swag?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. What should I give away? I'll probably give away this.
Dick pics.
No, because that's your potential commander-in-chief here, and maybe I'll add some. Maybe I'll add something else. Maybe I'll add this too. I'll add these two. Right there, yeah. Let's see. I'll throw this one in too. So, to one viewer. Oops, I just fucking dropped it. Who are we gonna pick? How are we gonna pick this?
Hold on.
Whoever send dick pics to Kyle. Whoever has the biggest dick gets these 3 patches.
I have a rooftop patch.
Oh shit, that's kind of rare.
I have that patch. Man, I just realized, not to make it less rare, but
why do you have so many?
Pete sent me a bunch. Can I give away one of these?
Whatever, it's yours. Yeah, whatever.
I'll give away a handful. I've got a few.
Hey Kyle. So, how many Christmas trees do you have in your house?
So, I wish I could switch all over to my phone. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not shitting y'all. We have one in my office, which I could probably.
I need to see how many trees you have.
So I have one there, right? Okay.
I think you need a bigger one.
No. We have probably a 6-foot one in the hallway, which is right outside my door. We have a standard size 8 or 10 foot in the living room. We have a standard size 8 or 10 foot in the bedroom. So that's.
What about Charlotte? Does she have one?
She does. She has a baby one. We have. If you want to go by baby Christmas trees, I have.
Oh, on your Blanton's little display.
Yes. Those don't count. I'm not counting those because if I counted those, it'd be dozens. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and one still in the box, full size Christmas trees. It's November 13th.
Well, so what you're saying, there's time for more.
No, I'm saying for those of you who are ordering my wife fucking Christmas trees, listen up right now. I will find your return address. I was going to say I'll send you dick pics, but they'll send more Christmas trees. Just please stop. We don't have the fucking space.
So you probably need ornaments too then, right?
Oh,
with all these trees.
Dude, that did not come decorated. That is hand decorated. And she won't just decorate the front. It's 360 degrees.
Well, I mean, you got to do it right.
Yeah, because everybody sees the back of my fucking Christmas tree. Anyway, I love you all, but please stop sending me Christmas trees. I don't know how y'all got this house has been here for like 60 days, and somebody got my address and have been sending us Christmas trees.
Because your wife loves Christmas trees. You cannot deny what your wife loves.
I'm not even bitching about 5 Christmas trees. There's one in a box outside this door right now. That's the 5th Christmas tree. I'm not complaining.
That is a travesty. That should be up and lit and decorated.
She's probably out there doing it right now because she was watching this and I think she dropped off, but good God.
I mean, I think on our next stream, you need to be in like a Santa outfit, ugly Christmas sweater for one of them. We need to do all that.
Wait, where did it go? So I have a Christmas blanket behind me.
Just in case you get cold, right?
There was a Santa hat here somewhere, and she got me a mic.
Oh, dude. Why didn't you use that?
But it records what I say. So if I go, stop sending me fucking Christmas trees.
Stop sending me fucking Christmas trees.
You sound like Buddy the Elf.
Exactly. So
that's awesome.
There's Christmas.
Don't be a thief of joy, okay?
There's
she
Christmas
loves Christmas
stuff everywhere. I have to hang those up.
And those should have Christmas hats. Those trophies should need Christmas hats on each.
No.
And then maybe bells around their antlers.
All right, so back to what we're here for. We have a giveaway to do. We have quite a few comments. I'm going to scroll through real quick.
You pick one, and then I'll send it.
No. You pick one, and then I pick one, and we see if they're the same one. Just a name.
Shit, I don't know.
Okay. Right, I'll do it. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to
you're just going to randomly, you just scroll and randomly pick.
Yep.
And then click.
Hold on. I'm scrolling down and up. I hope. John Kendall.
Who's that?
I don't know. It says, thanks, guys.
Okay.
I don't know you. Scrolling.
So that didn't count? What?
Nah. John, we might send you something. If you're still watching, send me your email within the next, I don't know, like 15 minutes, but I don't know you. Okay.
Kyle at deskpopshots.com.
Mark, I know that name.
Yeah.
So what was the first one? John? Was that the first one? Anyway, if you're still watching this and you saw your name get drawn, send me an email. We will send you out your stuff. Mark,
Kyle at deskpopshots.com.
Yes, send them there. That's fair. Mark, if you're still watching this, send me your stuff too, and I'll send you. I think I still have your address, but if not, that's fine. To everybody else, I know you had questions for Mike. Please remember, I gave Mike like an hour and a half notice, and he still came on to have a conversation.
Man, what a badass
and
came on.
Honestly, we wanted to talk. Oh, Kendall is watching still. Okay, John, I see you, buddy. We'll send you something too. I'll make sure you get something. Wait, TJ, fuck are you doing vouching for this guy? Who is he? We'll talk offline, TJ. To everybody else, thank y'all. It's been a minute. It's been an hour and 8 minutes.
Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back sometime next week. Don't know what day yet, but
Friday.
Probably around the same day. Okay.
Yeah. Lee Ty will be naked next time.
Maybe. I'll have tassels.
Booby tassels.
Yeah. Tassels and a sock.
I'm going through these comments. I know we're supposed to be done, but holy shit. We missed a lot of these talking with Mike.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll sit through these later and maybe some of y'all earn something, but thanks, y'all.
Oh, if you guys need Kyle's address for trees, let me know. I might have it. I think I have it.
If anybody's, I'm gonna set them on fire in my fucking yard, guys. I appreciate the love, but I cannot take any more. We don't have the space.
We need to exercise this Grinch spirit that Kyle has. We need to fucking exercise this. We need to bring back the Christmas spirit.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
All right, guys. Goodbye.
See ya.